None of you guys have seen it.
We'll get to that. It'll be fine.
Oh yeah, like we need to know about stuff to shit talk about it.
No spoilers.
Yeah, that'll be easy.
Yeah. I'm still watching Game of Thrones over here.
Hello to all you Patriots out there in podcast land, and welcome to episode 101 of TV Show Review Podcast in Canada. We're recording on Monday, October the 9th, 2017.
I'm Tim, a sports shooter, father of three, and the owner and operator of Tim's Good T-shirts. They're quite good. I'm also the descendant of beer-drinking immigrants.
Gavin, this would be a good time to tell us about
Sorry,
yourself.
someone's internet is lagging, so I was waiting for Tim's robot voice to slow down. But yeah, I'm Gavin, business owner, gun enthusiast, hunter, atheist, host of the Greater Toronto Area chapter of the Tactical Beard Owners Club.
I'm Marty, hunter and sports shooter in rural southern Ontario.
As always, my name is Andrew. I'm your host. I'm a recovering libertarian and competitive shooter and a firearms instructor for Ragnarok Tactical.
And we'd love to hear your feedback about the show, so please visit CanadianPatriotPodcast.com/feedback or email us at feedback@CanadianPatriotPodcast.com. Edited version of the show is available on Stitcher and iTunes. We'd love some more iTunes reviews, so those 5-star ones are the best ones. They're very good. So please leave those for us, and when you do, put down in the comment section something you'd like us to drink for an episode. It might happen, it might not.
Yeah, probably.
All right, and as always, yeah, definitely will. As always, you can see all of the fun stuff that we post on our social media accounts at facebook.com/Canadian Patriot Podcast and Instagram.com/Canadian Patriot Podcast.
Tim's internet. We need your help to support the show. Visit www.patreon.com/CPP and become a Patreon today. $1 an episode, you get the uncensored audio version of the show at a better quality than our unpaid subscribers do. And the more you pledge, the better the reward tiers are. The more you pledge, the better the rewards tiers are. What are we drinking?
We need your help.
Gavin, what are you drinking? Thanks, Tim.
I am drinking Kraken and Coke Zero this evening.
All right. Marty, what are you drinking?
I'm still in the Liquorman's Old Dirty Canadian Whiskey.
Nice. Excellent choice.
Yeah, for buying it for the novelty's sake, it's surprisingly good.
Yeah.
It is remarkably good for what it is. Tim, what are you drinking?
40 Creek Barrel Select and Reverse Osmosis Water. How's my robot voice?
It's gone
now. It has gone away. You successfully unterminated John Connor.
I had to scurry around and shut down like a dozen little electronic devices.
Those are probably all there.
Truly terrifying.
Listening in on you from the RCMP or something.
Yes.
I'm not drinking tonight, but I am eating delicious Panda Express. I have all of the orange chicken.
Nice. Excellent choice.
I'm also try the orange panda.
I'm also a fan of, what is it, their Shanghai beef. That's also very good.
All right, let's do our first TV show review tonight. Marty, what do you think of the most current season of The Walking Dead?
I have no opinion on it.
You're totally brought it up. The bit.
Do the bit, Marty. Do the bit.
So, current season is just starting. We're talking about last season.
Oh, fine. Shows you what I know. What do you think of the last season of The Walking Dead, Marty?
I feel like I'm a singular voice in this, but I was disappointed. I actually didn't really like last season.
I don't know if I'd say you're singular because, I haven't watched the last season because I need to catch up because I wasn't particularly enthralled with the previous season. So I'm with you. Just I was with you maybe a little ahead of time. I was cool before it was cool, I'm the hipster of The Walking Dead.
I'm with you guys. What was the season that they got to the
the terminus or the after?
Yeah,
that
was
one?
that when the Nigan character got introduced?
Yeah, that's the season I need
No,
to catch up on.
So yeah, Negan
Stopped
was
watching.
introduced like 2 seasons ago on like the last episode.
Yeah,
The
so I saw the
survivor.
introduction, but I didn't saw the part where they killed Glenn. And to be honest, I'm not sure if I'm ever going to go back and watch it because I don't care anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. His character, fucking awesome. But the problem is that like he's only in certain scenes, and the rest of the show is horrendous right now.
Yeah, I stopped really caring at, I don't know, season 3 because they didn't introduce the character with the katana very well. What was her name? Michonne? Yeah.
Shown.
Yeah,
Michonne, yeah.
Because I felt like the
Yeah.
character in the novels, yeah, because I'm that nerd that read the graphic novels. I felt the character had a lot more depth in the novels than in the TV show. She was just sort of like filling
Yeah.
the full minority quotas.
yeah, and she was a pretty badass
She was-
character.
Right.
Yeah,
And
the
like
katana holder. That was it.
that was like the TV show was like, okay, it's the black woman that has a katana. Great. We've managed to like tick some boxes for the reviewers.
What more do you want?
Right. But like,
We
the
have our
character in the
diversity,
books had depth.
character.
You know what I never liked about that was just because you remove the bottom jaw off a zombie or two, that doesn't take away their hunger.
No, but it
Fair.
takes away their ability to bite you.
Yeah, but they just quit. They grew lethargic like a public sector worker.
That is true, yeah. They should still be trying to bite her because they don't know they're missing a bottom jaw.
Yeah.
What? Zombies
She
aren't
should just be
self-aware?
continuously getting a gummer.
Yeah.
Should be like prom night.
Both fingers.
I think the hard thing with like a show like that is you really need to have like the whole premise of the show is like the whole like good versus evil, where there's like a group of people that you're rooting for versus the people. But like the way the show's at right now, I hate all of the main characters, so I don't care
Yeah,
who dies.
I'm at the point now where I just want them to kill everyone, but especially Carl, and I felt
Right.
that way about Carl since like season 1. So
Yeah,
that guy-
he's always been.
Nobody likes Carl.
Carl Papa.
Nobody felt bad for him when he fucking lost an eye or anything either. Just like fuck that kid.
totally fucking earned,
Yeah, like
deserved.
fuck that kid.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess the good thing about a show like that is they can kill off main characters. So they could just kill everyone off and just start a whole new show and people would probably watch it again.
I think the last
I don't
episode
know.
I watched was when Rick bit that guy's throat out to save Carl's life.
I thought we
I
said
would
no
not have done the
spoilers.
same. I would have let him kill Carl's.
And it's
Yeah.
like, and then they tried to act some moral dilemma, like, oh, what have I become? It's like, no, if you're going to save your kid or your people, you bite a throat. You know, you tear that throat out.
Yeah, I'm
I
with
think
Tim on that.
that's a direct quote from
Yeah,
Tim
you-
there.
I-
Everybody.
Yeah, you want me,
Yeah,
you want me to bite a throat?
I don't
I
think
can do it.
you
I can
just
I
get
can
rid of
bite a
the
throat by
characters
3
and
o'clock
don't
this
care.
afternoon.
Yeah.
I think we're mixing TV and movies. This isn't the movie the review show.
Okay.
To totally counter signal Gavin though, I think it does matter about the characters because I tried to watch the Walking Dead set in California. I don't know if they're
Yeah.
still doing that spinoff or not. That was freaking terrible.
Yeah,
So
I
bad.
watched a little bit of that. It seemed like it was off to a good start, and then it just like shit the bed.
No, I was waiting like the first 2 episodes. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, so get to the point where we do something good now. And then the first season finished, and I'm like, yeah, I'm never going back to see if they do a second season. Screw this, man.
I'm sorry, did they do a Walking Dead California? Is that what you said?
It's not called
That's what I was
Walking
gonna
Dead
ask.
California, but it's like another Walking Dead set in California. Like it's the
Yeah, it's not like CSI where they just
what's it
Is that
called?
the
city.
Fear of the Walking Dead?
Fear of the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I've not seen that.
So it's like the
set in
same-
California.
So it's a bunch of people
I
running
think
around going, "Where's my bullet button?"
Something like I don't remember if it's specifically California, but I think it was on
Right.
the West Coast, and it was the same timeline, and it starts from like the season 1 of Fear of the Walk, like the same point in the timeline as when Rick wakes up, but like on the other side of the country.
So the California zombies, did they buy iPhones and Starbucks and tofu?
Yeah, they're more like Bill Murray's character from Zombieland.
Any regrets? Garfield.
Yeah, understandable. It was a terrible film. All right, let's get into the news. I feel like that was a fun little diversion.
Yeah.
If it wasn't too bad, it's my podcast. We're doing it.
Yeah, but you got to finish eating your orange panda.
Yeah.
I'm still eating my orange panda. It's delicious.
Wait till next
zesty,
week when Tim reviews Game of Thrones.
I look forward to that.
Michael
That'll be
Bolton
fun.
guy. That Michael Bolton guy. Oh,
Michael
he'll get you angry.
Oh, Michael Bolton.
I hear he's quite the cinephile.
Oh, and there's this one guy, Tony Stark.
I love Tony Stark. And all those cool cars. And the red. While we're on the topic of things in movies, how come they got rid of all the misogyny in the Iron Man films? Why is Tony Stark not like beating his secretary anymore? Why do we get rid of that?
I guess he's transforming
when
into
did he
a good
beat
guy.
his secretary?
In one of the early comic books, he like physically abuses Pepper.
Oh yeah, okay, but not in any of the movies.
No, not in the movies. Marvel
No,
totally made it all
no.
PC and stuff. Because misogyny is not cool, okay?
Yeah.
Anyway, seriously though, this time the transition is going to work. Let's talk about the news.
All right.
I don't know.
You didn't play the song, and that's what threw us all off.
I'm on my mobile podcast setup, and I don't have any of the news. Tim, do the news. Perfect. Good news, Tim.
Thanks. Oh, just you mean the jingle or
All right,
all
so
the
the
news?
The choice is yours. The world is your oyster.
Oh, it feels like it. Yeah.
It's yeah. Anyway, first article comes to us from the CBC. The Mounties want to acquire 4,470 new muskrat hats, and apparently this is a bad thing because the environment and animal cruelty and stuff.
Yeah. Those poor muskrats.
Yeah. I mean, we did the same thing happened. Was it 2012, 2013 when the military went back to the muskrat hats again?
Yeah.
And they ordered a bunch.
So I guess it's important to note that the muskrat hats, the reason that they are used both by the RCMP and by the Canadian Forces, muskrat fur works particularly well in cold, wet environments, of which Canada has a lot because it's a northern country and it gets cold and wet here frequently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least
so
for half the year, every year.
So
yeah, I don't
back
think
when the
this is such a
military
bad thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, back when the military had to answer to the same, bleeding hearts about the muskrats, and same basic answer as what the RCMP said here is they looked at alternatives. There is no synthetic material that meets or exceeds the performance of muskrat fur, so they're going with muskrat fur.
Sounds fair.
I think
I can't see why why people would be upset about muskrats. Like, they're not like an attractive animal. They're not an endangered animal. Like,
No, they're
you want to skin the lake rats? Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're quite destructive actually as well. Like back home, we have an issue with them as well.
So everyone's up in arms
constant
that they order
nuisance.
these muskrat hats every few years. Yeah, like everyone's angry that they order these every few years, but like how many pairs of leather boots and belts and like Sam Brown belts and everything do they like order every friggin' day, and nobody's up in arms at that?
Okay, to that point, I'm actually surprised because it's only call it 5,000 hats for easy math. The RCMP has 20,000 employees, uniform officers. They have 30,000 employees if you count all the civilian support and administrative staff. Buying enough hats for 25% of their force, I'm surprised they're not shooting more muskrats to make hats out of.
So, and that's
The
the thing
article
is like,
says they need what, like
in this article, the
3 muskrats to make one hat?
the
2
I
to 3
forget
muskrats.
yeah, I forget the person that's complaining about it in this article, and you know, like her big thing was that she's upset that the size of this order, it's so huge, and it's going to be, you know, 12,000 muskrats. But later in the article, it's like, you know, our rural trappers in 2016 harvested 315,000 muskrats. This order is
Allegedly.
12,000 muskrats. It's nothing.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
So that's-
surprised muskrats
that's-
don't go for more than that.
That's under
$1.7
4%
million
of
for
the
300,000.
yeah, it's 4% of the harvest, like not even 4% of the harvest, the annual harvest.
Yeah.
So. But we're all overlooking our heritage, and there's one majestic animal that would probably provide
Seals, we
hats
should've-
for 5,000. No, the giant rubber duck
Oh,
could probably provide hat material for 5,000 Mounties. Just one duck.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's actually where all the Newfies get their hats from, is from rubber ducks. I mean,
You know, it may not be
those
great
yellow
for
rain
warmth, but it's
slickers have to come from somewhere.
Do we call them Newfies still, or do we call them ocean Mexicans?
okay.
Well, I know what I call them now.
Next from the National Post. Actually, Tim, why don't you tell us about the next one?
Oh, okay. This is the. Oh yes, sorry. My baby. There'll be a limerick about it later. So the MPs are backtracking on drunk canoeing. So, and you know what? This is a National Post article, and right off the bat, the headline is MPs backtrack: drunk canoeing may continue to be treated as impaired driving. So we touched on this within the last couple of weeks. They were going to make drunk canoeing not a crime, because there was one particular instance where a fellow had a couple of beers and was canoeing and was charged with, like, you know, being drunk while operating a vehicle or something like that, or watercraft. And like literally this guy
seized as a result.
Yeah, his car was seized, and he was not able to legally drive while his wife was like in the final part of her pregnancy. So he wasn't able to drive her legally to the hospital. It's just kind of stupid, which is about what you expect from the government. But one of the biggest crimes is the National Post missed an opportunity to say the MPs backpedal on drunk canoeing. It may be treated as impaired
Oh,
driving.
you're
So
right.
they
There's an
said
opportunity
that-
for a pun there that this writer missed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Brian
I'm
Platt,
upset.
I am disappointed in you, son. Bad writer. No donut.
No orange panda for you.
So
Or muskrat.
I read
hat.
this article and I come away more confused than anything, because it's still passed, and like the motion went through. Like, the amendment passed.
This is the reason I wanted to talk about it, Marty, is because I don't care about the drunk canoe. But apparently, the legislation can go through Senate, or has gone through the House, but has not gone through the Senate, and they can write an amendment to remove a clause because of where it is in the legislation. And I didn't know this was part of parliamentary procedure, that you could alter amendments and clauses to bills before they were passed through the Senate. I didn't realize this was a thing we could do. So I'd like to know where else we can make amendments and clauses to law. This opens up all kinds of fun legal things.
Oh yeah.
But what I don't understand. Okay, so there's an amendment that was put through to remove, you know, like basically non-motor powered paddled vehicles from being considered. What is the definition? Basically, considered vehicles, so that you don't get impaired driving charges for paddling. But then at the end, it's like, oh, when asked, says, you know, like, okay, so it's still going to be a crime to paddle a canoe impaired, and he says yes. So I don't understand, like, how do you put through an amendment that like no longer classifies, you know, non-motor powered vehicles as motor vehicles, therefore
It's
eliminating
just going to be it's just going to be a different type of crime, because right now it's an offense under the Highway Traffic Act, and all they're going to do is make it an offense to be operating well inebriated, or what, like however they're going to change the amendment, because the way that I understand
But
this is
that'll
the
require
law
an entirely different amendment.
apparently
I'm pretty
that's not
sure-
the case.
I'm
You
pretty
can-
sure it works the same way that you legalize pot by not making it legal.
Yeah, you can vote while
Yeah,
drunk.
this seems a lot like the liberal government wants to do, and being able to do it.
Yeah. They were probably hoping
Like
that they would make
they're
this
just
and no one would notice that they've like re-amended it.
Little did they know, Canadian Patriot Podcast pays attention to these little tiny amendments.
Well,
I don't know. It's just like the way this is all being done, it seems super sketchy and it doesn't make any sense. Like I don't even care. Like throwing aside the impaired, not impaired for paddling canoe, just this whole process of what's being done here is bizarre.
oh yeah.
Like I don't understand how you make an amendment that's not an amendment.
Well, what struck me, and I'm kind of stuck on it without going into all the legal details. It says bowing to concerns from safe boating advocates. So there are people out there who are safe boating advocates. That's what they do. They get up and advocate for safe boating, and it's just
There's a council, yeah, the Canadian Safe Boating Council. I wonder how much these people get paid.
oh geez.
Curious if it's chaired by
Yeah,
Kim
most
Mitchell or
people
not.
know them as the fun police.
Well, they're not getting not getting handouts from Labatt or Molson. I'll tell you that much.
I wonder if they have a registered lobbyist. How did they convince the government?
I wonder if they've ever seen Game of
And who's
Thrones.
paying for them? I wonder that about everyone, Tim.
Clearly, some questions need
That's
to
where
be
your
answered.
boating license tax dollars go into.
Oh geez, this reminds me of the tire tax.
I bet you like your license fees, it probably goes to these people.
Yeah. I hope that they're not that underhanded, but that wouldn't surprise me.
Right.
All right, let's do the next one. This is another. We're doing a lot of like catch up on stuff we talked about last week or the week before, but let's do another one because there's another thing to follow up on. The individual that stands accused of allegedly committing a terrorist attack in Edmonton 2 weeks ago was allegedly deported from the United States in 2011, illegally into Canada in 2012, and obtained refugee status. I wish I had my drop, but honk honk.
Well, I think I'm just surprised you skipped an article, but okay.
Did I
Well,
skip
it's
an
kind of a
article?
related. It's kind of a related article, really.
Okay, well, I'll just cut this out in post. Just do the white supremacists.
Well, okay, what were we doing? We're going back to the rebel.
Yeah, do it in the order of the show notes, and I'll fix it in post.
What do you mean, Therapy?
Okay.
Is that like the rapist?
Yeah, so from Therapal.media.
Yeah,
Yeah, Therapal.
the Blase.
Trudeau condemns white
I think it's
supremacists after...
they pronounce it with a hard T though.
Terrible. Oh, I get it.
Trudeau condemns white supremacists after Islamic terror in Edmonton. The shiniest of ponies decided to retweet things that Gavin's favorite MP decided to put on the internet. Or I guess not tweeted. This was Facebooking. Marion Monsef put out a post about how the diversity is our strength and unity overcomes hate, et cetera, ad nauseum, liberal nonsense, answer, et cetera. We're a community, and eventually we thank everyone who had a hand in organizing some event.
She's our favorite irregular immigrant.
She is our favorite irregular immigrant.
Our Afghani from Iraq.
Yeah.
Well, as far as she knows. So the point of this, her little narrative that she put out on the Facebook that got the Prime Minister's attention, there's a picture handprints on some piece of, I hesitate to call this art, but it says in the middle of the handprints that love lives here and white supremacy. I'm not sure if Marion Monsef is up on what happened in Edmonton, but the gentleman that is facing the terrorism charge,
she's as informed as Ralph Goodale is.
Doesn't strike her white. In fact, he's from Somalia, and his name rhymes with Aloha Snack Bar. So
then that means Trudeau must have been talking about the police officer that was hit by a car and stabbed while in the line of duty.
It's entirely possible, but I mean, like, they just double down on the liberal stupid, because Monsef puts out, like, stupid statement, and Prime Minister is like, I agree and amplify.
Well, I mean, we're still suffering from, the effects of that bombing, and people are confused, man. Like, it's a scary time, and no one knows what's going on.
Freaking Ralph Goodale with his bombing. Yeah, I don't know. Like,
so here's what I see here, and this is an example of what the Liberals are doing in question period. This is an example of what the Liberals are doing in Parliament. They're not being truthful. They're not answering questions, and they're just saying what they want to say repeatedly, regardless. So just like when there's a question that says, your tax reform is going to, going to hurt small businesses, how are you going to remedy that? They just say, we are lowering the taxes on the middle class. We are, they just say what they want to be true repeatedly, regardless of what the actual truth is. This is the example. There's a bombing here by Somali migrant or bombing. Jeez, the Goodale got me. There's an attack here from a Somali migrant with an ISIS flag, and they go, and white supremacists, because it's advantageous for them, and they want any attacks to be white supremacist. So they just say what they want to say.
I think the original quote went,
there should be like
2 legs bad, 4 legs good.
It's
from that book, Animal Fram.
They make great automotive accessories.
It's all I trust my car with.
Yeah, this upsets me greatly. All right, let's follow-up article from the Star. The individual that stands accused of the alleged terror attacks in Edmonton 2 weeks ago was reportedly deported from the U.S. in 2011 and somehow crossed illegally into Canada in 2012 and subsequently obtained his refugee status, at least according to the officer of Ralph Goodale. The guy that thinks it was a bomb, not a truck driving incident or a stabbing.
I mean, clearly the individual used his white privilege to skirt the laws on this one.
Yes, he definitely did something. I don't follow, but hey, it's the Minister of Public Safety. Since when does he have to make sense?
So what I don't understand here, and I have not seen the question posed to Ralph Goodale, is how does someone who's claimed refugee status in the United States that's been deported or being asked to leave or in any way leaving the United States trying to come to Canada, how are they able to claim refugee status in Canada when we have
the third safe country? Yeah. That's a great question. I would love for Goodale's office to answer it, but no one in the media is answering Goodale, and I don't have the guy's phone number.
He doesn't return my emails.
To be fair, this happened. This happened in 2012, so this wasn't the Liberal government in charge.
No, I'm not laying the blame at Trudeau and the Liberal government on this, but I mean they are the government that would conceivably be able to answer the question.
Based on the Safe First Country Act, you should not be able to claim asylum in Canada if you've claimed asylum in the United States.
Right. And there should be some record of that, regardless of who was forming the government at the time. Like, how did...
Yeah, there's surprising lack of information here is we also don't know why he was deported from the United States.
That's what I was looking for.
More than that, he got a deportation order that we don't know why Immigration Customs Enforcement issued the deportation order, other than we can assume that he was illegally in the United States, because that's why they deport people, is because you're a foreign national and you're not allowed to be here no more. So whatever he did to not allowed to be there no more. He never showed up for the actual deportation. The question was never actually formally deported from the United States.
No,
ICE
and he
still
never
has an open
challenged
file
it
on it.
either.
But as
Right.
an ally to the United States, we should reciprocate that. You shouldn't be here no more.
Well, that's what the Safe
That's
First
the Safe
Country
First
Act is,
Country
basically.
Act.
It's that basically any decision on immigration refugee is upholded by the rest, by the so basically any decision the United States makes, Canada will honor. Any decision that Canada makes, US will honor.
But how can
Otherwise,
you legally cross into Canada from a country?
That's the part
that
that
you're
I want to
deported
have
by?
answered is if this guy was supposed to be deported in September of 2011 and never formally received deportation, filed an appeal to the deportation order, how did he immigrate through Canadian customs in January of 2012? Like, he just fell off the face of the earth for like 4 months and then showed up in Canada?
Probably yes. He
So
probably
None of that
walked-
makes any sense. None of that makes sense.
The only way I'm thinking now is that you could be right in that he was just illegally in the States, just jumped the fence or whatever, and was in there. So he never actually went through any kind of formal process. But then at the same time, I don't know. I'm trying to think like perhaps Canada was the first country that he actually claimed refugee status in. Like maybe he never attempted to claim refugee status in the States. And
But he
therefore
was still
that
asked
got
to
him
be
around the
deported. So
yeah, I
the
don't
No,
know.
whole,
if the
like,
deportation
the
order from
whole
the States was from
illegal thing.
Somalia. Yeah. So there's this whole issue of how did he get around immigration and customs in the States and CBSA in Canada when he had a deportation order, and we have to abide by the First Safe Country Act. Like, there's this whole question that comes into how did he get here and how did he obtain refugee status. There's a further problem of
Illegally.
he was investigated by the RCMP in 2015 for allegedly espousing extremist views, but was released because they couldn't. The investigators at the time could not prove that he posed a significant threat to public safety.
They should have looked at like his Amazon history and seen where he'd ordered that ISIS flag. That should be proof.
Yeah, I mean, what else to say? The system failed us.
Yeah,
this is
multiple times.
This is basically the one valid purpose of government, and they failed.
This is like the pastry dough of failure. This is folded many times and kept in the freezer with butter.
I'm not sure how the butter works into that, but all right.
I just had to continue the pastry theme. Anyway, many layers.
Many layers, like an onion.
Many layers, like an onion. Cakes.
Each sadder than the last.
All right, let's do another one. We're going to talk about the transparency that is the sitting Liberal government. Article from the CBC. Sorry, go ahead,
It's
Marty.
transparent.
It's transparently
It's
kicking your
transparent.
ass out of party.
Yeah, it's transparent. You have to be 100% lockstep in line with the leader.
You
Or else
must do
get
the
your ass
shiny
kicked.
pony dance, or else we're going to kick your ass out of the party. Well, I guess they haven't done that yet. They took away the man's committees right now. So New Brunswick MP kicked off of 2 committees for breaking Liberal ranks on tax changes. St. John, or I guess that's St. John. Rotha CMP Wayne Long says he's deeply disappointed but understands. I would like to see a little more outrage from members of the Liberal caucus that are being walked all over by their party whips. So this guy sits on...
Before we go too far, let's review a condensed version of Trudeau's answer about specifically this. A couple of MPs that sort of broke ranks over the business tax changes. So let's hear what Trudeau had to say again before we juxtapose that to his actions.
As for caucus, folks know that I embrace diversity. I'm proud that our caucus has a broad range of views and perspectives on the best way to move forward on things. It's one of the strengths of the Liberal Party, and I encourage a broad range of voices speaking up within the Liberal Party. That's a key part of doing a good job of serving Canadians, of listening to concerns and responding to them.
So he encourages differing opinions. I want differing opinions. I want you to speak up, so then I can separate you and kick you out of my party.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We want you to be diverse, just like everybody else.
But kicking him off of 2 committees, that probably cost that guy about
$24,000.
Yeah. So $2,000 a month. That's
you get $12,000 for being on a committee in addition to your regular salary.
So, not to mention for all of that person's constituents, an MP, basically, any power they have is from the committees that they're on. An MP basically has no influence whatsoever, except for committees. That's where all of the work is done, is in the committees. So kicking him out of those committees essentially eliminates any influence that his entire constituency has.
So what is this individual's particular crime of heresy against the shiniest of ponies?
So he basically broke rank and said that, these tax changes are going to hurt small businesses.
What? That's crazy.
Whoever would have thought that?
Yeah.
So I think I want to go one step deeper on that, though, Marty. I think that the issue was that he wanted to agree that they needed to extend the consultation period. If I'm not mistaken, that was his particular crime. It wasn't even that he disagreed with the party publicly. He said that he was in favor of extending the consultation period.
I believe he voted in favor of extending the consultation period.
So not even that he was like...
You don't even need to disagree, just...
Yeah.
Simply being interested in talking about issues more than the rest of, or I guess more than the Prime Minister in this case, is enough to get you removed from your committees and potentially removed from your political party.
Yeah. So Wayne Long said that my constituents asked loud and clear for an extension.
Oh, for fuck's sakes! Go ahead, Tim.
He said, my constituents asked loud and clear for an extension. There's no way I could stand up in the House of Commons and vote against extending the process. I just couldn't do it. He said, I just can't support a process that was only 75 days long, that pitted people against each other, doctors against nurses, farmers on the defensive, and made lawyers, small businesses, and professionals feel vilified. So
that actually sounds like a very logical explanation and argument.
Yeah, I was going to say that just for anyone that's unaware, we're talking about the extension was to January 31st. So it's not like we're talking about like an indefinite amount of periods. Let's have a few months here where we can get feedback from the people that are going to be affected by this.
Well, we can't have that. I mean, why would you want to do anything that the Liberal government wants to just ram through? Like they clearly know what's best for everyone.
As we saw,
I wonder if this is...
Man, I don't know if it's my delay today or if it's what's going on.
I think we got extra delay
But,
on a couple of people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think thesis is probably all over us.
But as we saw from like Trudeau's
Go once
statement,
more, Marty.
was
Try
that-
again.
He was.
All
Oh
right,
shit.
as we saw from some of the statements from the Liberal Party, was that people being made aware of the issues of these tax changes was inciting hate and inciting violence.
It's white supremacy, really.
Yeah,
Every
they were,
Supremacy.
you know, they were-
Supremacy.
Supremacy.
So the Liberal stance is basically don't tell people about this because that's evil.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It doesn't take a lot of imagination to say that this guy, if that's what he's doing, if he's following what his constituents say, and standing up for him, like he said, in the end, I need to look in the mirror. I need to be able to look at myself in the mirror.
So
Yeah.
from that, I wonder if this is the only honest Liberal politician or the only Liberal that has business owners that live in his riding.
Yeah, he seems like a duck out of water.
What's his riding?
St. John Rothesay.
Is that like a ocean Mexican?
It's like an ocean Mexican. He's from
Okay.
New Brunswick.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, his comments seem quite reasonable. It's
Yeah, I think he's my
surprises
favorite
me that
Liberal right now.
That he's
Yeah.
a Liberal.
Yeah, but unfortunately,
Like he-
he's in a party that is just repeat the same talking point again and again and again. Do not encourage thought or looking into something. Just repeat the talking point that's handed to you by your leader.
All right, let's do the next one. CTV News. Conservative pick for status of women chair defeated. Vecchio? Anybody got a better pronunciation for this? It's
gotta be
named against
Vecchio.
her will. Vecchio?
Yeah. Vecchio is probably correct.
All right, we'll go with Vecchio then.
I would guess Vecchio.
Vecchio is a conservative MP who was picked to chair the Status of Women Committee. Everything in government's all about committee. That's how they do their work. The Liberals that sit on their committee, in conjunction with a single NDP member, managed to form a majority on that committee to not allow Vecchio to be the chair because of her past voting history. Previously endorsed the Campaign Life Coalition and voted against things like abortion. Liberals really value diversity of ideas when it comes to committee meetings. Nobody?
I mean, what do you? I mean, just sounds like more of the same, you know.
Yeah, because she's
So
approached talking, kicked her out of the committee.
What's fun because I was
Here's
just
a
watching
question.
a video earlier today that was talking about 10 times that Trudeau was a false feminist, and this was a prime one.
So here's a question. If an anti-abortion is unsuitable to be on a women's committee, what about an anti-gunner on a firearms committee?
Had a neat parallelism.
Well, I guess that depends what their objective is, Marty. If their objective is to ban guns, then they want more anti-gunners on there. So clearly they
So
want
if they were
to.
committing abortions via guns, then this anti-abortion person would be welcome?
That's an interesting question.
This pisses me off greatly that the Liberals have decided to remove a woman from the head of a committee because they disagree with her stance on the content of what they're going to be discussing in committee.
And then they forced the next woman to chair the committee.
Also,
I mean, the only thing that they should have, like, her qualification is that she's a woman. I mean, that should be enough reason
I
for her to
like
be
that
on
Becky
there.
O is going to be
I'll
on
do
the
it.
Yeah.
committee.
I'll do it.
I think this would have been a fine candidate to have on the committee because she would have argued with the Liberals over what they wanted to do.
What's the pay?
Yeah.
Well, it's 12,000 to sit on a committee. It's probably another 10 or 12,000 on top of that to chair a committee.
Because maybe I could identify as a woman, and I think I'd be a shoo-in as the first transgendered
Yeah.
woman on an abortion committee.
I don't
Like,
see how they
also,
could say no.
It's a status of women committee, but I like that you're getting elected on the anti-abortion issue. That's a good platform you got there.
Well, the like shit, we had
Diversity is our strength.
We had Caitlyn Jenner was the woman of the year in the States.
Yeah.
It's a current year, man.
So, I also
Don't impress me.
I also disagree the fact that, like, although somebody has a singular view that you're against, but the fact that they're not able to be like they can't have a third party view on things, that they're not able to be unbiased or impartial, maybe not unbiased, but impartial over certain things.
Yeah, that they're not going to be impartial, or that they can't vote in the favor of their constituents because they're, representative electives in a democracy, and that's how that system's supposed to work. So their
That's
personal opinions aren't supposed to matter.
Yeah,
exactly.
But diversity and stuff.
Yeah, it's
This is the
exactly the
status
attacks
of
they
women.
tried on.
Yeah.
On Andrew Scheer. As soon as Andrew Scheer got elected, they started scaremongering about the he's anti-abortion.
Yeah, I was saying
like-
he was. What were they were saying? He was like a fundamentalist religious type of thing. Social conservative.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it's
And
for
it's
the
like-
status of women, the fact that she's a woman is the only qualification that she needs.
I disagree.
No, I agree with Trudeau though. If someone isn't doing what you like, you yank that broad out of there and stick another broad in. Like,
So one that's more receptive to tit elbows
Yeah.
and grabbing.
yeah,
Yeah.
I could
As
really
long
have
as
a
you're
couple.
paying him 87% of what you're paying a male, then it's fine.
Yeah, he doesn't
Yeah.
pay his cabinet members as well, the females as well as the males. But
Why would he?
Well, they're only there because he gave them the job. So
Yeah.
and he's only there because of
without
his
him,
father.
how would they?
They should just be grateful they have jobs.
Dear. All right. Another CBC article.
It's great to
Yeah,
see so
we're
many
just gonna
chicks
keep on
in
rolling.
Parliament, though.
Well,
I
next
can't wait for
next
someone to listen to
CBC
this
article.
podcast that doesn't understand sarcasm.
Yeah, oh man, we are so screwed
Whatever.
if that happens.
I don't care.
fall in the sarcasm.
Ontario to create safe access zones around abortion clinics with new legislation. Because I guess the Liberal government of Ontario needs to solve. It's not a problem. I don't understand why they're doing this. This is a non-starter issue that we already have rules around that we don't need to make more legislation for. Immediately, the press is going to the scaremongering of the Conservatives. The Conservatives are going to cause a fight with Wynne over this because they disagree with what should be done around access to abortion. And it's like, we already have rules around abortion. We already have rules around protesting. We already have rules around harassment. Is the provincial government in Ontario trying to create regulations that further compound those issues? Like, now we have a safe space for access to abortion resources of 50 to 150 meters outside of clinics, health facilities, and homes of clinic staff or offices of other healthcare professionals who provide services or where the abortion pill is available. Like, what problem are we trying to solve here, and why does the government need to be involved in it? We already have rules for all this.
I don't know. Have they been doing that in your guys' area where they've been protesting lately?
Yeah, I mean, we always have protesters in the KW area that are
No, because like
hospital, but whatever. I mean, it's a hospital, so I guess
well,
they can have
yeah.
a protest there.
So at least in Mississauga, they've had a bunch of protesters out, and I've heard from other people as well for the last while. Like they've had lines and lines of people. I mean, on several streets near me, with their pray to stop abortion and this and that sign. So that, I mean, probably is why there seems to have been this all of a sudden an urgent need for this, even
Right.
though, I mean, it seems like it's all like 80-year-old women that probably couldn't physically stop somebody from crossing them. And I don't think any of them were actually in front of an abortion clinic. They were just like lining the streets in front of any and every hospital or any major intersection.
Yeah, that's the way it is in our areas. They just stand near the hospitals. Not even the hospitals that necessarily conduct the abortions are really good about that at one of the Grand River facilities in Kitchener. They just stand there because there's a park that they can stand, because they're not allowed to be at the hospital. They have to stand across the street from it in a park. They stand in the...
From Gavin's description, though, I think what they're doing is like it's like 4D chess, and they're stopping the abortion pre-erection.
Cut it off at the source.
Did you guys see Patrick Brown's response to this?
What did dumbass have to say about this?
I think he's probably correct in this. I think this is an election move to try to make social issues the topic. And he's like, this isn't an issue. No one's talking about this. No one's complaining about this. This isn't a problem today. You're making this an issue because that's what you're trying to stand on for the next election. Like, she can't go on economy. She can't go on taxation. She can't go on anything whatsoever. But she can talk about how they stood up for abortion and how they, that kind of stuff like that. So she's trying to make an issue where there isn't one so that she can use it for the next election.
And that's,
what a good stance on
taxation take on it.
A good stance on taxation would be that it's theft.
That's a solid analysis, Marty. I think
that's not a stance. That's a fact.
You're right. That is making. Well, I disagree with him on many issues. He's right. This is a non-issue, and I think the Liberals are going to use it as part of their plan because they need a win on something. And this is, as I pointed out, we already have rules about all of this.
Yeah, we're not. This isn't Mordor, for Christ's sake.
Yet.
But you have my axe.
Well played, sir.
Well, all right, last one, Sun News. Actually, I think this is another Tim one. Tim, tell us about this.
Do you always catch me out here? Canada slips
posting things that are worth talking about.
That's really odd. I don't. Yeah, Canada has slipped from the 10 economic freedoms list for the first time ever. So,
can I just say, great photo from Sun?
Yeah, with the spiked fence.
Yeah, looking at the Parliament Tower, the Freedom Tower.
Yeah.
No, it's the Peace Tower. That's what it
behind
is. The Peace Tower.
Peace Tower behind the fence.
So it's the Canadian, not the Canadian.
Solid picture.
Yeah, the Economic Freedom List is a ranking of the top 159 countries and territories in the world, and I think this started. When did it start? Around 1980. They started this, or maybe it's 1970. But Canada, we've always been in the top 10 list for economic freedom, and now for the first time ever, we've slipped. We're now tied with America at number 11.
I believe that's America.
America. I'll have to ask Matt.
Everybody 70. And the data that we're looking at now,
it's already
here that the ranking is based on is from 2015.
Mm-hmm. before the Liberal government came in and raised income
So
taxes.
this is
on
the one
81%.
time that I will let the shiny pony blame Harper for something. This was Harper's fault. However, just like deficit spending and everything else the shiny pony has done, current policies of the sitting government are not going to improve our situation.
No. And then if
This
people get tired enough of this government and try NDP next year, then we'll really, or next election, then we'll really see. They'll vote for that guy. What's the guy? His name's a verb.
The black pill.
Who's that guy? Singh.
Yeah.
Singh.
So
His name's a verb.
in 2015.
Now
Per
the thing
capita
is,
Canadian. Sorry, go ahead.
the thing is, like, we were doing really well, like around 2009, as Harper's government was guiding us through, like the the global economic recession, and now it's just the fact that it's petering out in 2015. I think you could probably put a lot of the blame on Ontario because it has such a large population, and we've been in a stinking Liberal government for like.
Oh. Ontario, a huge contributor to our massive federal debt, right? Because like they take the provincial debt into account for that, because it's how they factor it into the GDP. 2015, our federal debt reached 53% of our gross domestic product, which is massive. It was under 40% in 2007. On top of this, we're going to have the bottoming out of the oil industry in Western Canada. Jobs out of Ontario under the last two provincial Liberal governments. Now, on top of this, we're going to have the carbon tax, the changes to electricity generation, and increased per citizen spending. Or I guess it's not even per citizen, because we're spending money on people that aren't even Canadian. We're spending more money on individuals that receive some form of federal dollars, which is really just the polite way of saying my tax money. An increase from $5,500 under Harper to Trudeau spending $8,300 a person in 2017. So the fact that we're still retaining spot number 11 on the list is impressive. It's going to be worse the next time they update the numbers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I mean, deficits are how we show how awesome we are.
Deficits are a way to show the kind of success a government can.
Yeah. So really, we want to be the last country on that list to show everyone that we're the best.
Hard no.
What you want to do is you want to get your debt up there to equal your GDP.
Ideally, if your debt surpasses your GDP, that would be the best.
That would be a huge success.
Red line.
That'd be very, 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 very success.
Yeah.
News. We got no rapid fire feedback. I'm on the road, so if you've left an iTunes review or sent an email, I didn't get it. I guess this is a Tim thing. We're just going to change this to the Tim Show. Tim Charity 2017.
Okay, the Fuck Cancer Charity Shoot 2017.
Yes,
it's
second annual.
Second annual, yes. It will be held on October 21st, which is a Saturday, at the Guelph Rod and Gun Club. The beneficiary is a good friend of mine, Scott H., who was diagnosed with stage 3 medullary thyroid cancer. It's a rare cancer with 180 cases in Canada per year. He had his thyroid and 76 lymph nodes removed and 2 parathyroids. 35 radiation treatments have left his lungs with chronic inflammation. And that makes it very hard for him to do his job because he is a self-employed general contractor. So we got prizes rolling in. We got some excellent sponsors. And I have in my possession one of my favorite prizes is the Larry Vickers autographed Vickers sling.
Yep, Mr. Vickers came through.
Yes, he did.
He was good in his
Gavin,
word.
yeah. What are the other sponsors, Gavin? Gavin's been doing very good. He did very well last year, and he's doing excellent again this year to
Yeah, I mean
approach our
just
sponsors.
pull up a list here because there's a bunch of them and they are quite good. So we've got Ragnarok Tactical, obviously. I mean, we kind of guilted Andrew into donating some stuff for that one. We've got Gray Fox Strategic as well. They've sent some more Kydex accessories. I have those in my possession. They arrived the other day. They seem to be a big hit at the podcast shoot. We have a new sponsor, Wardoll. They're sending some of their awesome swag, their T-shirts and stuff. Titan Tactical again is sponsoring with us. They're donating a course actually, which will be kind of cool. TDSA is also donating some classes. Lands Shooting Supplies is donating again. Firearms Outlet Canada is donating some 9mm ammo, and Tim had a recent review of their awesome store. What, 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Great guys
Placed my
over
order.
there, very helpful.
Placed my order, processed my order within a couple of hours, and had it shipped out that evening. So
my lovely girlfriend's store, Fresh Collective, is offering up a wardrobe makeover for any ladies that show up, or I guess gentlemen too. They do have a few men's clothing items there, or for those that just want to wear female gendered clothing, they don't judge. Whatevs. Select Shooting Supplies,
Well, I mean,
Matador Arms.
or if you're a male that's trying to become the chair of the women's committee, that could come in handy.
There you go.
yeah, I could use a makeover.
They do
Get on
also
that,
sell the Trudeau undies at that store, the Trundies, as they've also been called.
No.
But yeah, Select Shooting Supplies.
Please
is
elaborate.
They're
No, do not elaborate. I don't need to know this.
They're a brand of panties that have Trudeau's face on them.
Oh dear Lord.
Not quite centered on the crotch region, a little off to the side a little bit. But
So, like when you get the shit stain that's on his face.
no, it would on the front side, not the back side. If I were to have made them, they would have been his face on the inside of the middle of the back, but I didn't make them.
You could do it. The shit stain would be nice right on the forehead, like that, like our Somali terrorist in Edmonton, and that big bruise on his forehead.
That'll happen when you're a terrorist.
Yeah.
Hey, he showed up like that.
He got off easy.
Yeah, I'll say. But yeah, Matador Arms and Exfil Apparel is sending us some sweet T-shirts as well. So a couple of new sponsors, a couple of old sponsors. So we thank them all. It should be a good day. Hopefully some more too coming.
All right. I don't think we've got anything else. Register for that, because if you're not in practice score, you don't get a T-shirt, etc. Let's go
put your size
on the Facebook.
Make sure you put your size for a T-shirt. If you don't put your size, it's important.
Almost as important as the shooting event is the after shooting beer and chicken wings, where you could brag about how well you did.
Or in my case,
So
eating wings.
Yes.
And can I just make a comment about how awesome the Canadian firearms industry is? I mean, we host events like this, and they really step up and donate some awesome prizes. And for those of you coming out, there's basically enough prizes that pretty well everyone walks away with something.
Generally, yeah, there'll be something. I mean, I may
except for the Vickers sling. That's mine. You guys aren't getting it.
I may even sweeten the pot this year with another sweet chainsaw. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, lots of prizes. The shooters are great. If you've never come to an event before, you just come on out and everyone will guide you through it. Shooting people are the best people. Good times, good event. Very, very positive.
Raising.
Yeah. I mean, I was even speaking with one of the sort of sponsors that, Gavin mentioned in there, and he was coming to me like he accidentally was left off the initial list and noticed and contacted directly. I was like, I was missed to sponsor you guys free stuff for the charity shoot. You know, like
You didn't call and get your free stuff, guys.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
you know, that's it really goes to show you, you know, the support you get from the industry in Canada, and it's great to see, and it, you know, it only benefits everybody. You know, it helps out, you know, a well-deserving person in this case. You know, the shooting community. You know, you know, we get extra. You know, we get matches like this are able to be run because we have the sponsors, and you know, it just sort of helps everybody. So
Yeah.
you know, support the sponsors. Look at the, you know, take a look at these guys that are sponsoring these matches, that are sponsoring these shoots. You know, see what you can find on their stores, and you know, it's really
show them some love.
great
I
for
mean,
everyone.
a lot of them are small business tax shelters, so they need your money.
Exactly what I was going to say. Government does not give a shit about these people, so we got to take care of our own.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and a lot of them are current or former military, which is also kind of nice to support those people that have signed on that dotted line to, you know, protect what few freedoms we have left.
Mm-hmm.
So show them some love.
All right. Tim, where can everybody find you?
I got a limerick.
Oh, you got a limerick? Do a limerick, Tim.
Did a limerick. Did a limerick. Yeah, this is a limerick I did just as we started a little late, and I pulled a limerick out. So it's just not the best limerick, but anyway, here it goes. Don't drink beer if you're going canoeing, because the liberals don't know what they're doing. Trudeau's blaming the Nazis to the left-leaning zombies. ISIS flags shouldn't be this confusing.
I don't know if that was everybody or just me, but it cut out for part of it.
It sounded great to me.
Yeah, it was quick to the point.
Good.
I like it. I appreciate it.
Sad and true.
Then
But Andrew's still recording, so you might have to redo that.
I'm sure it'll be. Yeah, do the bit again, Tim, just in case it missed it.
Don't drink beer if you're going canoeing, because the liberals don't know what they're doing. Trudeau's blaming the Nazis to the left-leaning zombies. ISIS flags shouldn't be this confusing.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unlike our podcast.
It's when do we have to make sense? We're not nearly as funny when I'm sober, though. I've noticed that, I'll tell you.
Yeah, you make the dollars, and the cents take care of themselves.
Tim, where can everybody find you on the internet?
You can find me at timsgoodtshirts.ca or facebook.com/timsgoodtshirts.
Gavin, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Instagram at urbex_GTA.
Marty, where can everybody find the show?
They already have.
An excellent point.
Where can they send their feedback about the show?
Feedback at CanadianPatriotPodcast.com.
That's my email address. My name is Andrew. Yeah. You can get some firearms training or first aid supplies at shop.ragnaroktactical.ca. Listeners out there in podcast land, I would like to remind you that you are the true North, strong and free.